What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASAS Studio, and this is the continuation of the video we made earlier in Capture One, and I thought about completing it in Photoshop just because of some limitations that we have. So just a little recap, and before the recap, I just want to say a very big thank you for everyone supporting the channel one way or the other. Okay, so let's jump right into what we have. Well, we've actually edited the videos on the channel, edited this in Capture One, and like I said, Capture One is my one go-to. I normally use just because of the simplicity and how fast it is compared to Capture One. If you want to try and even out skin tones and just do some little amendments that you have to going through so many process, but Capture One, I just find it easy for me to quickly do things faster than bringing it into Capture One. So like I said, so the video is on the channel. This is what we achieved through Capture One. I'm just going to turn on the layer so you can see that we actually even out the skin tones and some of the dark in the background and the rest of. So you can see the skin tones here and here is actually different. In fact, the skin tones of the skin tone here is actually different skin color. And I also want to do some frequency separation and enhance the skin texture and blend the skin tones the more, so which is what we can do in Capture One. If there is a method, I guess I would have did it. So you can see that this side and this side is not actually blending enough, but I guess it's the makeup she actually put on. So enough of the talk, let's just get right into what we have now. I'm just going to quickly use frequency separation for that. So just turning off this other layer and then renaming this one as our reference. I'm going to hit Control J twice, name this one color. If you have your frequency separation action, you can actually press this and skip all this, but I just like doing it for the sake of people who are actually just new to the frequency separation thing. Yeah, we're good. So let's continue. So I'm going to turn off the texture layer and turn off the reference. Okay, let's leave the reference on color and then go to filter, blur. Mind you, I'm already doing the frequency separation, Gaussian blur. So we're going to blur till we can see the skin texture. Yeah, so somewhere around, I don't want to see the skin texture, I just want somewhere around let's say 20. I'm just going to blend it in. 20 looks okay to me. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to go to the texture layer, turn it on, go to image, apply image, and subtract. We're going to subtract it from the color layer, so click subtract here, and then on the layer panel click on color, so click OK, and then we have two you can see, and two layers. So one, we separated the texture and the color layer. So if you check the color layer and the texture layer, you see this line here, of which I'm trying to remove it from the texture layer, from the color layer. So it's going to actually give us a problem, meaning if we're actually using the tool, the clone stamp to fill in this place, it will actually if you're actually using the mixer tool brush to smoothing out the skin color, smoothing out the skin color is still going to be there kind of. Let me show you what I'm trying to say. So go to linear light, Control Z, not linear light, normal, for the texture linear light. Yeah, so this is linear light, the color will be normal. So now what I'm trying to say is, for the texture layer you are using the clone stamp tool, for the color layer you are using the mixer tool brush. Okay, so now if I try to blend this together, we still have just a little bit, see what I'm talking about, just a little bit of that shadow black kind of thing, and it's because of it's on the texture layer. So if we do it on the texture layer, you see that it's actually cleaning. Okay, so I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z. So that is what I'm talking about, that we can fix that by using the clone stamp tool. Let's just try to blend the skin tone. So click on the texture layer, use your color mixer tool brush. You already know how to do your frequency separation. I'm just going to blend the skin together like so, and also this side just a little bit, and beware of the highlight, because those places, if you blend them, they look flat. Okay, all right, so let's just keep things smooth and steady. So we have that in the texture layer. I'm going to zoom on her forehead, and then I'm going to blend that. Zoom in on her forehead. So keep blending till we have a nice smooth skin texture. So you don't have to just overwork yourself. For actually going to fix things using the lasso tool too. Okay, so I'm still blending. So I feel like it's actually looking okay. So we can actually check our before and after, like I said. Okay, so that looks okay to me. I'm just going to go to the chest side, and then I'm going to blend it also, just in the direction. Okay, so on our neck, okay, let's say we are okay with that. You can take your time and you can do the rest. So let's see. I'm going to group these two together and check out our before and after. So group them together, name them frequency separation, and let's see, just turning it off and on. You can see the smoothing of the skin. Let me zoom in. This is what we have before. Check this two side out and some other places, and then this is what we have now. So now let's fix the skin, the texture. So go choose the clone stamp tool for the texture layer, and this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to increase the size and then sample. So for places like this, I'm actually going to sample things, and I'm going to fix it in on our nose so we don't have that. I'm going to sample here, and then we're going to click on those. Okay, so we have that. Same thing with this one. So we're not trying to make things look flat, we're just trying to fix the photo. Okay, so let's go back. I think we need to blend this place the more too. Okay, but let's finish that, let's just continue first of all and fix some places with the skin texture. I like it smooth. Okay, just a little bit. You can see some blemishes right here. And then we have something like this. Play with. Okay, so we're doing great. Just little touches of where we feel is actually important. Okay. Alright, so let's zoom in and see. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just actually going to focus on our forehead and then fix this side of the image where these lines, I feel that is due to the makeup. Okay. Alright, so here also. Okay, so since we have that, I'm going to blend this size. So click on the color layer and then mixer to decrease the brush size, and then I'm going to flow in like so. I'm also going to blend this place that looks kind of weird. So this is what I'm actually trying to say. Sometimes you just need to fix the texture. I guess it's the texture that is actually affecting those places. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to go back and then sample with the close stamp tool, and then I'm going to fix in the texture for all those places. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out right now so you can see the difference. Yeah, so that looks okay to me, except for I feel this is the reflection of this one on our head, on our eyes, but let's see if we can actually blend that. If we can't, we can actually leave it. So increase and then blend. So just like so. Looks okay and fine to me. Okay, so now what I like doing is I like duplicating the texture layer, like Ctrl J. Yeah, and then I put in some mask. First of all, decrease the opacity like so. Let's say 50%, and then I'll create a mask, invert the mask, and paint with a normal brush to bring out more skin texture. So background color white, flow 50%. Let's leave it there. So I'm just going to paint on where I want the skin texture on her face. So I have a lot of skin texture. I'm not going to paint here because on a normal face there isn't any skin texture there. So I'm going to paint on her lips also, on her nose, just like so. Okay, I'm going to go to her forehead, and then I'm going to typically it's as if you are sharpening but I find it just okay, like using it. So to me, sometimes that is how I make the skin texture more, pronounced. So just quickly remove it from this side. It's X again. So now we can increase the visibility, the opacity, or okay, I choose flow, the fill. You can see how. Let's see the before and then the after. So just more skin texture. I'm gonna decrease the opacity to like 31. So we ended up introducing more skin texture to our face. So just before and then just after, before and after. So that's how I increase my skin, skin texture. So let's create a stamp visible layer, Control Shift Alternate E, and after that just work on create the exposure tool. I like using the exposure tool a lot to brighten, to make things a little bit more dramatic. So I'm going to bring it not the way down, not the way, just a little bit. So we see just before and then after. But I think okay, so bring it down. Make things look more interesting. So let's just see before and then after, just a little bit to give it more depth and feel. I'm going to color grade now. So go to our color balance tool and then I'm going to do some color grading. I'm going to put in some blues, just +6, and some red, and the midtones, highlights. Look at the picture and edit. Don't let some blues, some red on the shadows. Should we add yellow? Yeah, I don't want the money feel. I want some yellow, but blue will feel like this. Which I don't want that. Let's zoom out a little bit. So yellow and blue. Blue looks calmer. Okay, so let's put some blues. I'm going to put in some cyan, and how about the greens? So magenta, feel the blue looks too much, so let's go midtones, +6. Yeah, so I don't want green. I want to decrease the green. I'm going to make this one 0 back. So I'm going to stop there, and then let's see our before and after. If it's actually, so this is our before and then this is our after. Just a lot of difference. Corrected the yellows. You can see a lot of yellow on our skin, and then give it this one. So if you want to give us some rich tone, you can actually create that. So let's increase exposure for more contrast. So bringing it all the way up. I just want it just a little bit. So I'm going to invert it. Control I, and then use the brush tool to paint over where I want to see it. I just want it on our skin. Just some part. So let's zoom out. If it's too much, feel it's too much, so decrease the opacity by 50%. So that depends on the exposure too. Alright, so this is where we're actually going to stop the tutorial. So this is what I will do for editing the photos. So I'm just going to group them together and then I'm going to create a stamp visible layer. So you can actually do, give more vibrance to the photo, and then you are done. So something like vibrance, and increase the vibrance, not the saturation. Give it more life. Okay, so 28 looks good to me. All right, so let's see without the vibrance and the vibrance. So it's actually just settle. So that's where I'm going to stop. That's when I'm going to stop editing. Sometimes I do bring it up and merge the two layer, or create a stamp visible layer, and then what I do is use the HDR and then make things a little more interesting. So let's try out the HDR. Alright, so if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the video post, kindly subscribe. If you like the content, also share and turn on the notification for more videos will be coming in. So one last thing I like to do, I like to double check and see if we actually made progress. So I can see we made progress to this point, turning this from this point. This is the layer before frequency separation. And one thing I just want to check is the exposure. So if I turn back this layer on and then I turn off the exposure, just zoom in a little bit and let's see, turning on the exposure. So I feel like the exposure brought more life and more dimension to it. So this is where I'm actually going to stop, and let's group everything together. So I feel like the vibrance is actually too much. So I'm going to delete that layer and then go back to the vibrance and decrease it just 10 or 11. So I think that is actually okay. I'm going to group everything, Shift Hold Command, group. Okay, let's remove this one, our reference, and then group it. So from the group, this is what we have, and now this is what we have. So before in Capture One, this is what we have, and now this is what we have. So if you've not checked the video on Capture One, how we got to this point, you can actually check the channel or click on the link on the screen below. And so this brings us to the end of the tutorial. See you in our next video. Don't forget, subscribe if you are new.